Hi everyone, it's Jimmy. So today I want to introduce you to somebody very special. So her name is Mimi Wright, and I was able to interview her when I was in Londonderry, Vermont. So you might not know who she is, but if you know anything about Burton Snowboards, you know that there's a mountain logo. Mimi is actually the person that created that logo a long time ago in 1977, 78. So she's a very smart person, a very sweet lady, and I want you guys to meet her. She's somebody that I think you guys should know. So she was there with Jake Burton Carpenter when he opened up his first shop, and she has some stories to tell. So here's Mimi. Mimi, can you tell us how you met Jake Burton?
Well, he was my brother-in-law, my sister-in-law's brother. So I've known him for a long time. And he came to this area to ski and started playing around with snurfers and snowboards over in Landgrove at the Bigelow's farm, where they rented a barn and stayed there. And then he approached me about a place to live here in Londonderry, and I connected him with friends, the Adamsons, who had a farmhouse, still have a farmhouse, that Jake lived in for 3 years and took care of the dogs and the horses, and started producing his prototypes there. And then he connected with me and my brother Mark and another guy named Mike Malloy, and we were the 3M, and we helped him produce the first boards, forming the wood and attaching everything to it. And I worked on the silk screening and the logo, and I developed the logo. He had a contest, and he offered $100 for anyone who could come up with the logo. So I produced 3 apparently, and only one exists. I don't know what the other 2 were, but I got the $100 because nobody else entered the contest. So you're wearing that logo right now on your shirt.
Yeah, so guys, this is the logo that she's talking about. So it's the famous mountain logo. So
1978.
1978. So in 1978, Mimi came up with the design, the original mountain logo. And what made you kind of think about the mountain and the size, the way you did?
It was just what Jake wanted. So I made mountains, and Burton.
And he paid you for it. He paid the $100.
He paid the $100. Yeah.
Oh, very
Little
cool.
did I know.
So you started to work there in 77, 78, or?
Yeah, 77.
Okay.
I think. No, maybe it was 78, and then I kept a diary at the time. I don't always keep a diary, but I did, and it's very helpful now in trying to confirm the history. But I have the date of our first production board, which I believe was December 15th, 1978.
Okay.
And that winter we made maybe 300 boards, all made by hand. And I suspect he only sold about 150. There were times when he would go out to pedal boards and come back with more than he sold because somebody didn't want it.
Wow.
There was a lot of disbelief about the whole thing, and he was incredibly determined and just straight down the road of going to make this work, even if he didn't have the money, or things were incredibly frustrating. He did it.
Wow. So did you ever see him at a time where he was just so down on himself, where he was just like, man, I don't know about this? Or was he always, just like you said, just always fighting and fighting?
No, he never expressed that. He could express frustration and, but he was always determined.
Okay.
Yeah.
And did you ever keep any of the boards that you made? Did you at least keep one of them, or did you?
There actually was a day when Jake was gone, and the three of us, Mark, Mike, and myself, all made ourselves our own board.
Oh, nice.
And I have mine.
Oh.
It's up in the exhibit, and it has never been used, and it's pristine. It's in perfect shape.
Yeah.
So that's my pride and joy.
Wow, that's so cool. So when you talked to Jake when he was still living in New York, and you're like, you reached out to a friend, and you asked them, hey, can Jake stay with you?
He actually came up here.
Okay.
And so I connected them here.
Okay.
Yeah.
And from your recollection, the first boards that you made, were they the all wood grain ones, or were they blue ones? Do you remember which ones came first?
Good question. I think they were blue.
Okay.
They were all, obviously, all wood. We had the wood, the nose bent in a factory in Shushan, New York. We went over there and looked at what they did with chairs and bending wood, and got them to bend the wood. There were so many steps of, you know, what's the right fin, what's the right mat, what's,
yeah, that's interesting, because he, you know, I heard in an interview he was saying that he was like the worst, like in his wood shop class. He didn't have any woodworking skills, but somehow he put together something pretty nice. I own one of the first BB ones. I just got it maybe like 2 weeks ago.
Oh, great.
And you know, I own some of the next year boards, and I mean, he did a good job considering he didn't have a, you know, hands-on, like he wasn't a hands-on guy.
Well, he had us doing that for him, and likewise, we weren't snowboarders.
Okay, yeah.
So, you know, went hand in hand.
Yeah. And and then the fins, were those also hand cut, or did they buy them already cut, or?
You can talk to Mark in the green cap, because he did more of that, and I did the silk screening.
Okay, wow.
Yeah, I went up to a place in Pittsford, Vermont, north of Rutland, and there was a place called Vermont Silk Screen Company, and I worked with John Blittersdorf for quite a long while, developing it and making the screen. And he said, if you can screen this curve, you can screen anything.
So that's cool.
Yeah.
So really, you not only came up with the first mountain logo, but you also kind of worked with somebody to figure out how to silk screen the lettering and everything.
I guarantee you, any of those first boards that were made here, I silk screened.
Wow.
Yeah.
So the board I have at home.
That's right.
Man, I should have brought it so you could sign it for me. You know.
What color is it?
It's a blue one.
Yeah.
It's a blue one. But it's interesting. What I find so interesting about the early boards is that there were so many different variations. Nothing was perfect and exactly alike. Like
it's all handmade.
Yeah, it's all handmade. Yeah. Some of the boards I noticed, I always thought that the first blue boards that had Stratton Mountain on them, the original ones.
Yeah.
I remember seeing somewhere or hearing somewhere that they were all blue, even the bottom. And then I thought that the next ones that came out, the still made here in Londonderry, that they had the blue top and just the wood grain bottom. But then I noticed that some of them were still all painted blue.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. You will see the screen, the Stratton Mountain screen, which I guess was early prototype, up in the exhibit.
Wow.
Plus you see that for 45 years or whatever, I've kept cans of the ink. So that's, that's up there.
Wow, how cool is that? Yeah, every time I buy an old board, I started with one board, and it was I think a 1985 Burton Performer. It was still all wood. But the moment I bought that very first one, after that I couldn't stop buying those. Yeah, I feel like the new boards now, you know, they do a lot for a rider. They're nice, but those old wooden boards, they almost have a soul, you know. They're all wood, and they tell a story.
That's right.
So I'm fascinated by them, and you know, that's why I wanted to come down here, and I wanted to meet you because I heard about your story and how you were there from the beginning.
So he set up at the Adamsons' house, and he worked in their mudroom, and Nick still has the bench that he worked on.
Oh, really?
And a board that Jake left behind in the barn.
Oh, man.
And it's like a little museum.
Wow. And he lives around here? That barn's around here? Wow, that's so cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. Maybe, do you think he'll come around today?
He was here for reception at the exhibit, so I don't think he can come this week.
Oh, man. Yeah. Yeah, I've grown to like this area. I was here in late July. And
in the rain?
You know what? It was after the rain, so we were lucky. We did like an East Coast trip, and then we went to Burlington, and then we just kind of visited a lot of places. Yeah. And I told my dad, I'm like, man, I want to go to Londonderry. I just want to see it with my own eyes.
Well, I wonder whether this marker will draw people specifically for that.
Yeah. I'm fascinated by stuff like that. I just I like to see things with my own eyes. You know, you see pictures and you hear about stuff. But meeting people like you in person, I think it's so special. And yeah, I just want to say thank you so much. Your brother was really nice too at the farm. He was really nice. Jon. I met Jon. He was so nice.
He is.
And he told me that he did something similar to like what I'm doing right now. He used to like interviewing people.
He has great interviews. You should check them out. It's Out of the Hills. Farmer John or something, interviewing local people, and they're wonderful. He just doesn't have enough time to do that. I should say that for a number of years we've been working towards getting a sculpture here in Londonderry, and maybe you saw the film that we did. It was called Snowboard National Monument, and it's online, and still hope to generate interest to bring a sculpture here.
Wow, that's so cool. Very cool. Yeah. Well, thank you so much, Mimi, for your time. I appreciate it.
Thank you, Jimmy.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, thank you so much, Mimi. So here she is, Mimi, one of the first original Burton employees.
That's right.
Thank you, guys. Thanks for watching. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.